Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC Guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Piper Academy. I am Army Piper. We got a great show lined up for you today. Economic data coming in mixed. We're getting pullbacks on the markets, and I knew this was going to happen as soon as I saw that data this morning. We're going to tell you what I saw and what you need to be watching. Also, Bitcoin, major indicator historically led to a 20% pullback. That'd be $52,000. We're going to be breaking that down a lot more today on Piper Academy, guys. Stick around. Let's get it. Classes in session. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Piper Academy. I am Army Piper, and I am here every Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Let's go ahead and jump in here with my co-host today, TradeFly and OC Guy. We got a great show lined up for you guys, and you need to stick around because we're going to be talking about this indicator that just popped on a 3-day chart that is showing that we are possibly looking at pain coming to the markets on Bitcoin, and that's going to cause all your alts to go down with it. So stick around. You're not going to want to miss that. TradeFly and OC, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. It feels so good to hear someone else be bearish besides me. So I'm kind of looking forward to what you have.
I don't know if you noticed, but I put you on the thumbnail today, pointing at the.
Didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna make TradeFly the official bear face of the show. But today I'm being a realist. I'm not being a bear. I am still super bullish. But I will tell you, I took some profit yesterday on some of my smaller alts that I'm sitting on dry powder right now. I added some extra dry powder, and just for clarity and transparency's sake. So I'm ready. I am prepared, but I need to prepare everyone else today. So class, pay attention today. OC, what's up, man?
Not much. Seems like you're turning to the dark side, brother.
Oh no, never will I turn to the dark side. However, pause for effect, I will call a duck a duck. So
Absolutely. I completely understand. I mean, the most important part is just take data as for what it is, data, right? And if data is pointing downwards, well, it is what it is, and we need to take it into consideration. I mean, there's nothing worse than just having the best data or the most recent data and just ignoring it, because you get wrecked that way, right? So yeah, completely understand. And I'm eager to see what you got for the berry side to get you into that dark side.
Well, you've got a little something to talk about today too. There's a commodity out there that's going up in price. A little pullback recently, but that price pump that we had up until about a day and a half ago could absolutely come out to haunt us on the next inflation reports, because it typically means that things cost more. So we're going to talk about that today too. We got a lot to break out. So TradeFly, you want to give a shout out to all the alumni in the chat right now? I do see T-Shroom in there. I do see Alex O Crypto. I see Amy Lives Crypto. So we got a lot of the content creators in here joining us today. The gang is in the house over here with the alumni. So if you want to give a shout out to the people, and I'll get everything set up.
Yeah.
We'll unroll it. Let's do it. It's a banger.
Started. Let's see if I can actually read. All right, Ninja Glock, what's up? My man Jay, he's still actually repping Jay. I'm telling you, man, change it so I can tag you in these chats. BC Port Corp, that's Blackie Chan, Justin Eubanks, Kyle Fields, Alexander G, best mod in the house. How you doing? She's a SoCal girl, by the way. Magnum DeFi, Alex O Crypto, my twinsy. What's up, brother? How you doing? Kyle Fields, French Toaster, hola, my friend. And Crux, always there in the background lurking. We love you, brother. Let's see. Amy Lives Crypto. How you doing? We're going to have you on the show soon. I'm actually pretty excited about that. I've been watching a couple of your videos. So you guys.
She's wicked smart. I love it.
Yeah, she does good work. I like it. Bit2Endo and Mike Play. If I didn't say you already, Harp and David Brumbelow and Brian D. Good morning. How you guys doing? Let's get this party started.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, guys, let's jump over into the news. Let's wrap up the news really fast here. We got a couple of articles that we'll read throughout the show, but we're going to get into the economic data that happened today, guys. Taking a look here on the fear and greed. We're sitting at 70 right now for greed. Ticked up a little bit higher, but now Guys, I think we're going to see this move back into this neutral position. We're going to be breaking that down. Looking here on the daily, we still have a lot of green on the daily, but off of the economic data that happened this morning, we started to move into a lot of red, and we can scroll down here and see Bitcoin pulled back 0.1%, nothing major. 0.3% pullback on Ethereum for the past hour, BNB down 0.3%. Everything else kind of waiting to see what happens with the rest of this data and how the markets react to it, which just opened 6 minutes ago. So we'll take a look at some of that stuff too. Any big movers on the market cap here? It looks like Render has dropped 2 positions down to number 27. Immutable X up 3 spots to number 30 there. But overall, kind of just mixed markets right now. You can see that they're just as mixed as what the economic data was. The liquidations coming in the past 24 hours, 53,000 traders liquidated, $131 million worth of liquidations. And Bitcoin, biggest one on Bybit at $1.6 million. Not too much going on there. A lot of short liquidations for the 24 hours. As you can imagine, we had a little pump yesterday on that CPI data, which if you were turning in here on Monday, we were talking about that we were likely to see, if we met or beat those numbers on Wednesdays, that we would see a market pump on Wednesday. And I even said that on Tuesday, that was likely what was going to happen when I was on Keeper's show on Tuesday. So if you missed that, we try to give you guys this info in advance so that you guys can make your plays based on that. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the project's doing. If the economic data says bad, then things are going to go bad. If it says good, then things are going to go good. Fundamental analysis is always going to have a vote, and it's weighted very heavily. Let's jump into this economic data here, guys. Taking a look at what we had here. We had building permits that came out this morning. So this is preliminary. These are people applying for intent to build, right? That actually came in. It was 1.46 million. Consensus was that it would be up to 1.48. Forecast to be 1.46. Actually came in at 1.44. So this came down a little bit. So they're slowing down on building right now. Even right here on the building permits month over month, you can see that it was expected to be down 0.2%. Actually beat it at 3%, not 0.3, 3% down. So that is a slowdown there too. Indicates economic slowdown, right? This is why I said there was mixed data. Because if we go down here and look at initial jobless claims was expected to be as high as 225,000 for the week. It actually came in at 222,000. Now, something that I do want to show you here, if I put this back to the impact of 1, there is a continuing jobless claims here, and this actually came in much higher than what they thought. 1.8 million, I know it says 1,794K, that's 1.8 million is what it came in at, in line with the forecast. So a little bit hotter than what the consensus was, meaning that people are continuing to file for unemployment from previous weeks of filing for unemployment. And then export prices here dropped. That's down 1%. It was expected to be down 0.9%. Import prices are coming up. This means we are making less money for GDP, for items going out, goods going out to the world. And on importing stuff, prices are coming up. This gives a pretty good indication that we are going to see, and we'll jump back over to the trio cam, that we're going to see inflation start to come back off of these numbers. So that's what I was saying. There was some data that was good, some data that was bad, but overall, when you shake it all out, there was a little bit more chunks of bad in there than what there was chunks of good, and that's why we're seeing pullback this morning. It's why we put that bearish thumbnail together and pushed it out right at 6:30 when I got this data. I was like, "Yep, this is not going to be good." So, TradeFly, Permabear, Crypto Pollo, member for 2 months, cum laude. He said, TradeFly, can you look at LDO? Took a scalp at, and he has a price in there. So, yeah, we'll do that one right after we do the Bitcoin. Does that sound good, TradeFly? Cool.
Yeah, man. I got
guys,
it pulled up. I'm taking a look at it right now, just kind of in the background as you're going through the news.
Sweet. Well, that pretty much wraps up the news. I just wanted to talk about this. We got 2 articles that we'll read throughout the show, but I just want to see what you guys think. Based on this data, what are your thoughts on this as far as what we're seeing for the possible pullback? Are you seeing, prices are going to be coming back up again? Are we going to get even more inflation in the times ahead based on this data? I personally think we will, especially with the little bit of data that OC is getting ready to drop on you. But what's your thoughts, Tradefly?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of know where I stand. I just don't think that we've been getting the appropriate numbers the entire time. I'm gonna say it probably till I'm blue in the face here. I'm gonna be matching my sweatshirt here shortly, but it's not aligning with what we're spending on a monthly basis. Like we still see inflation, and I don't see a whole lot of improvement, to be honest with you. I just think they keep manipulating the numbers to show us that inflation is going down. So yeah, and maybe at some point that there's just no fighting it, and they have to admit the fact that inflation is still high. But we'll see. I mean, that's just where I stand.
Yeah, I can agree with that. So, OC, you're going to get your input right here on this because we're getting ready to jump over here real fast. I want you guys to see this. So, this is from the Kabisi letter, came out yesterday, and it says copper futures surged to new record highs and now up 55% in 2 years. If we take a look over here, what it's saying here. It was at the price of 508. It's actually had a little bit of a pullback since then, but it's up 30% year to date. Previous all-time high was 503, took place in March 2022 when inflation had risen at its fastest pace in 40 years. Over the last 3 months, copper prices are up 35%, fueling additional inflationary pressures. In 2 years, copper prices have surged approximately 55%. And historically, there has been a high correlation between rising copper prices and inflation, CPI, more evidence that inflation is on the rise. Let's go over here and let's talk about this. And OC, you got a chart for us. And you've actually worked at, being in engineering and working construction and all the jobs that you've done. You've dealt with the price of copper going up and what that means for the cost of other goods. Like copper's used in everything. So can you break that down? And then we'll pull up your chart and take a look at that. I think this is a good indicator that we will see inflation coming in the months ahead, coming in even harder. So what's your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. So basically what I'm looking at here, it is the copper charts, right? So what's important about copper is that it is one of those prime materials, right? It's almost just like water, but with everything else that has to do with technology and technological advances such as electricity, transportation, construction, so on and so forth. I mean, just think about it, what everything is made out of, right? Usually it's copper and gold and silver. So talking about electronics and then talking about cabling, well, then also copper is a big, huge conductor, and also in the medicine industry, right? So seeing the copper rising, well, the first thing that we're going to be having an impact, it is going to be the raw material usage, such as cabling, construction, chip manufacturing, and also cars comparing. So that's going to be a huge impact that we're going to be seeing right away. So you might not be seeing right away from tomorrow change of price of everything, like for example fruit and groceries, but you'll see it is start climbing upwards, and that will be reflected on the data that we're going to be seeing. So I do also agree with Trailflight that at some point it's going to be inevitable that we need to admit that inflation is catching up to us. And just to go back and take a look at the chart that we're seeing, that by the way, if we go to daily, which we are on previous highs at this point, right? So we're technically breaking that high, although we have a small pullback. So let's just kind of like do a little bit of a introduction here. So the first thing as an indicative that I'm going to be seeing here with copper is going to be two things: one gold and the other one aluminum. So very quick, I'm going to just switch to gold very fast, and we see the same exact movement. Not only that, much worrying, gold did that pullback that we could be seeing right now on 4 hours time frame on copper, and then it keeps rising up. And then aluminum, exactly the same. We need to be very, very careful, especially with how things are going to be playing out, because when copper start rising up, they start adding aluminum to copper to make it cheaper, and then also degrades the use of copper or the conductivity of copper due to a amalgamy that becomes, right. So yeah, not looking that good. But we still have a little bit of a possibility that we can do a retracement, because we are not only on previous highs but also in a premium zone, and usually we see that premium zone reversing. I also believe that you have on your 4-hour time frame a red mark, check mark, isn't it? And which that usually it's a little pullback. So let's just see how that pullback works, because we are getting into that fair value gap. And you know what happens when we hit 50% on fair value gap, we usually bounce up. So right now we can see we have a little triangle here. So we either make or break into what could be an inflation bubble build up. So yeah, that's what I got.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I do want to point out too that these prices of copper going up, guys, it's used in everything. Like it's in every electronic you buy. It's in homes, especially homes. And with us seeing a slowdown of the building permits that are out there also, and those import prices increasing right now while exports going down, it means GDP is going to shift also. So Brian D said the raising of the rates is not working. And that we need to repeal the Trump era billionaires tax breaks. I agree. I think they pay an average. I think the article I read said 8%. That is the average tax rate that is paid by billionaires. And I would love to pay an 8% tax rate. That would be fantastic. So yeah, I'm all for it. I think the best thing to do, put out a flat tax rate. Everybody pays the same amount. And if your business wants to get any decreasing off of that 15%, then it's based on your benefit packages and your job numbers that you create, especially in areas that don't have large employment opportunities. So, if you move to a small rural area and build a factory and increase, 100,000 jobs in that area, that's how you get those tax breaks off of that 15%. I'm just one guy, just my opinion. Let's jump into the Bitcoin chart and let's take a look at that and see what we're seeing on here, because I want to get into this point of contention that is, $52,000 Bitcoin. So looking here on the 4-hour right now, guys, we did get this nice rally up. Shout out to anybody in our Discord that got in at that level that I called here on the Discord, because that was right there. And you would have been doing really, really good on this run up on Bitcoin, especially if you got it into alts. Because I did tell you guys, check out your alts, because if Bitcoin moves, alts are going to move even more. And it looks like an upside movement there for Bitcoin to move. Matter of fact, we did have a little bit of a head and shoulder here also. Head, shoulder right there. And that move looks like pretty much is in line with this right here. Let's go ahead and just drop this down and pull it up here just to see. Yeah, we actually broke the head and shoulders line. So looking pretty good there. But right now I am seeing that we are on a lot of altcoins, and you'll see this over as we go through the show, are hitting critical resistance areas. Right now, Bitcoin coming in at about $66,200, peaking as high as 66.7 yesterday. Or overnight, I should say. But right now, if you take a look, we did have overbought print on the Oscillator Prime here, on the Oscillator Pro, and we did have that ribbon twist looking like downside. And look at the flat top here that we're getting on RSI Prime, sitting around that 88, 90% mark. This is all poised for downside movement, giving us indication there that this has played out. But the thing that I want to show you guys, and I'm going to jump over here. If you guys have the Caprioli, Bitcoin mining hash ribbon, update it, because I had to update mine. I want to show you guys what happened on here. I pulled up an article that was talking about hash rate capitulation. And if I pull over to the news, I can pull this up. We'll go ahead and talk about this one real fast. Bitcoin hash ribbons form capitulation signal, what it means. So I went over and I looked at mine and said, okay, why am I not seeing a capitulation? I went and looked, and there's a new one. Guys, there's a new Caprioli. So just go re-add it and you'll get it updated here. You guys see this green dot right here? this is on a 4-day right now, and I believe it's even on the 3-day. It will show it here also. Let me see. 3-day, yeah, 3-day. It's on there also. 2-day, 2-day. It's on there also. Is it on the daily? Should be on the daily also. Yep. And then if we go to the weekly, I think that's where it cuts. Nope, it's on the weekly now also, guys. So this weekly capitulation here, especially on the 3-day, this indicates pullback. This means miners are selling off Bitcoin. That means that the supply of Bitcoin into the market is about to increase. And typically, yeah, you can see it flipping on and off. It's right there at that line where it could be happening. If we put it on the 3-day and look at this, though, and go back historically, when you see that capitulation, for example, guys, here we had a capitulation from that top down to this bottom, 21% move to the downside. We had another one here. Now, this is the outlier. This was the bottom of the market when everyone was calling for that we were going to go down to $3,500 Bitcoin, a $4,500, $10,000, whatever. This was the bottom of the market. We had one here, but we ranged sideways for, let's see here. When did that happen? It happened on the 27th of November, and we did not start to get a breakout until January. So at least at the worst case, the best case scenario, we go sideways into summer right here in this level, this range that we've been in. And that's the best case scenario with this capitulation. Because we come back here, you can see here, and this would actually wreck a lot of people. This one had a pullback of 43%. And then if we go back even further and look here, we did have a little pump here on this one where it pumped up. Yeah, right there. It came down 17%, and then it went up from that point 8%, and then back down another 20. And then if you look, last one here, look at this capitulation that happened here. We did have a little pump up of about 18%, but then ultimately that led all the way down into the next capitulation, which was a 40% move. Guys, if we take the most average of this, which is a 20% move from our current levels, and look at where this would be at, 20% move to the downside would be $52,000. So there you go. That's what we're looking at right now. And this is why I said 52K. I kept seeing it and other things on the charts that were giving me indication of that. But when I look at this with the capitulation indicator popping hot on the Bitcoin mining, this means literally what this means. They are selling Bitcoin. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with a lot of them have ASIC systems that are not able to keep up with the cost of it right now. And it's not profitable for them to mine with those. So they are getting rid of those. They got to sell Bitcoin to buy new equipment. And that selling is going to add to the market supply. So, yeah, the price of Bitcoin, Crux Crypto just nailed it. Price of Bitcoin is determined mainly on the miners and demand, the two strongest influences. So, and right now, if they start selling, that price is going to come down. So, TradeFly OC, what do you think? Does this add to the $52,000 narrative of Bitcoin, or does this possibly, just go sideways and we don't see 52K, but the pullbacks that we get back to that 56K line again shock a lot of people, scare a lot of people. They remember that this thing exists. The smart Bitcoin people know that capitulation is in effect. They see that price pullback and then they sell, and then it causes that trickle effect on top of it to get us there. What are your thoughts on this? What's going to happen with this? This, at the end of the day, regardless, not a good look on right now on the price for Bitcoin. So we'll go TradeFly first, Mr. Perma Bear.
Yeah, man. So, I've been looking at that area for a whole different reason. So come on over to my screen, and we're going to go ahead and look at the liquidation heat map. All right. So looking at it on the weekly, you can see there's a lot of liquidity that's building up around 60K, just over 60K. But it's when we really zoom out and we look at the 3-month. I know you guys are probably tired of seeing this, those that have been watching the show for some time, but this is the area that I've been watching for a significant amount of time, somewhere around 50,300. That is where a lot of liquidity is sitting. And I mean, we're talking about billions of dollars worth of liquidity. So there's a lot of people that are still in long positions that kind of rode this wave up. But when you look at it, you zoom out and you take a look at it, you can't tell me that you're not seeing a little bit of a trend down and right. So this is kind of critical right now. We want to see if this is going to hold. You see resistance right here. You want to see if that's going to be able to break that area, because if we get a rejection and you see a movement back down and right, I say all of that's very much in play. Because the trend right now is still kind of going down and right for me. So this is actually, I'd say, a really critical area. I think that it can come down to 50K. I'm very confident in that. And we've talked about this before. If you really zoom out, look at the charts, it's still bullish structure. It's okay for it to pull back to 50K. It is going to shake people out. It is going to give the institutions an opportunity to purchase some of that Bitcoin at a lower price. All signs for me point for something very logical, for that price to come down to that area, but then ultimately continue to the upside. So I'm still kind of leaning on that. And I've told you guys 100 times, I do have an open position sitting in this area. And realistically, I think that what you're going to get there once it does reach the area is a little bit of capitulation, or maybe kind of a cascading effect where it's clearing out all that liquidity. People are getting shook out. And then I think we're going to get a hard bounce at around 48,000. That's just my personal, opinion, just kind of what I'm thinking. And again, if it never gets down there, there's no harm in just being ready. If you got dry powder on the side, why not have a position just sitting there, waiting? Keep that stop loss at that next support level, which is about 48,000. And, it's, play that game. If you swing trading is kind of what I prefer. I like to let the price action come to me. It gets a little indecisive in here. Once you find a range, that's cool. We did find a range for a while that we sat in. We had that value area low and that high where it was just kind of pogoing. We found that point of control where ultimately we had the price break down. That's good. You can play those games. And 56K was nice because that was the last time that we had a significant range, and that was Piper's call, and that played out well too. But I mean, ultimately, this is where I have a lot of my capital sitting. I am waiting patiently, and it may never come there, but I'll be ready if it does.
Yeah, before OC talks on that, I do want to point out, based on what you just showed there, and you guys can see it's almost overlaid perfectly there, where that big line is down here at 52K, 50K. That is literally where I have my T-box on here too. So it's this capitulation. It's this accumulation period over here. And the reason that 50K comes into play is the bottom of that little range there. And then the top of it being right there. So there's top, there's the bottom of it. That is the accumulation range that we're talking about for that 52 to 50K. And I do believe that, I think it was Ada Ace just said, no, Dave Digital, it'd be less than 3 minutes to buy there. That's why I said 52K, because I do have orders in at $52,000 that I don't want to miss out if it is a very quick wick. But I know if I'm at 52 and it does bounce down to 50K, I'm going to get picked up in there. And whether it's 50K or 52K, it's not going to matter, a year from now. So I'm going to grab in that range right there. So, yep.
And I think he's right. I think it's going to be a very quick wick off of that area, and people are going to jump on it.
Yeah, absolutely. OC, let's kick it over to you and see what you're seeing on Bitcoin, and then let's get into the ETF, because T-Stream brought up a good point about the ETFs, and there is some stuff going on with the ETFs and new players coming in for some spot trading into the market, some big players. So let's get over to your chart, see what you're seeing, and then let's go and talk about those ETFs.
Absolutely. I will say that at this point, I do believe that it is completely possible. I'll say that this might go the other way around. Because, yeah, just using new sounds, by the way. Because we just had a confirmation right here of the YKF pattern. That doesn't mean that we cannot reverse and break the YKF pattern or any other pattern. Remember that a pattern is only a pattern when it has broke in what has, played out. Nonetheless, at this point, you can see that I'm confirming right here the spring confirmation, right? Which is right here. So we have the spring, go up, retest, and off we go, right? So as you can see right here, we have the spring right here and right there. And then, that's not the spring confirmation. Oh yeah, sorry. This is the spring right here. Sorry, my bad. And then we have the spring confirmation. So the spring being this one lower than anything else, like right here that you can see right there. And then, which is this one, then going up, retracement, going up, retracement, and having it confirmed by breaking the neckline in here. So what I'm looking for is a little bit of a pullback, and then I will be jumping in for maybe a long right there. What has happened previously? Well, we can see the same formation as we break a movement going down, having that little bull flag, and then blasting up at the same area as we are right now. So far, I believe that we either kind of like take a little while to range and then pop up at the top of the range. But I mean, let's pull something up here. And also shout out to Nonsi Sam that he showed this to me almost 3 weeks ago. So we have a huge daily cup and handle right here. So let me show it to you. This cup and handle, come on, Trading View, whenever you're ready. Is it my internet horrible, guys? I don't know. All right. So
Hashtag
right
Mexico.
here we can see. Oh yes, please. All right, so we have a huge cup in here, and we have the handle, right? For me, usually a healthy or at minimum handle should be 1/3 or 1/4 of the whole cup. So we have a 25%, 76% retracement, and that divided between 3, that gives us a 25.3 retracement. By the way, guys, look at that, 25% retracement of the healthy cup and handle would put us at 55,300. And remember that I have my first DCA entry, serious DCA entry right here at 52,200. Why? Because we have a huge order block right down there. So it is not out of the possibilities while still being completely bullish, right? Another thing that I want to point out right here is that in this handle, we are breaking the main trend line. I mean, of course, that we could be making another high and then retracing all the way down here. So if you're bullish, be careful, start moving your stop to entry. If you are bearish, start looking for bearish retracements and weakness in the market. So that's what I got for you guys.
I love it. Trade Fly, you got LDO up. You got LDO up for the hash rabbit is the smoking gun, and then also that accumulation period down there, and the heat map. So we got 3 points of data saying that 50 to 52K in play t-shirt. So shout out to you, man. Appreciate you always. What do you got there for LDO, bro?
Yeah, man. So I've been looking at LDO almost the whole time in the background. So one thing I'm looking at right now is I went to May 10th at 05 on LDO. Let me actually go to the, regardless, I don't really have to, because you can see, looking at Bitcoin, you can see there's up and right movement. I go to LDO and I see a down and right movement. So that's a little scary for me, to be honest with you. All right, this right here is the golden pocket. Look, it tried to hold this area, reject it. Then it fell underneath of the golden pocket altogether, came up for a retest, reject it. What you're hanging your hat on right now for me is that you had this right here, this wick. This is a pretty long wick. That wick is showing you that there is buying pressure in that area. I think that is probably what you're hanging your hat on at this area of support right here. And I mean, that kind of lines up with where you bought at 1.51. So good on you. If it's a quick scalp in, out, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I'd be very careful because, I mean, you can see that your upside potential here is, it's a little scary for me. I don't know that I necessarily, would have made that move. Just looking at the prime oscillator, though, that is kind of good, right? That's continuing up and right. But I don't know, man. I would probably have liked to see another test of this support area with the continuation of prime oscillator going up and right. So it's a quick move. Keep a tight stop loss. You can see too that Part Prime has actually printed a falling wedge, and it has a smart target here at this area of support. And when you're looking at that area of support, let me see if I can scroll back far enough. Yeah, there you go. So I'm looking at the bottom side of this last range. So there was a point of control here. I won't say it's naked because it hit it there, but it didn't really, like you saw, it tried to bounce off of it right here, come up, retest, and then it just broke down right through it. So now you have the value area low, you have this support level right here at the bottom side of this range. So I don't think all is lost, but I'm also not gonna say that it can't come back down here to about 1.43. So I don't know how tight your stop is, or what you're really looking for percentage wise. What's your threshold for risk management here? But to see it move down to about 1.43 and then find some sort of support wouldn't be surprising to me at all. So again, quick scalp if you're in, if you used high leverage here at about 1.51, got that bounce. That might be all you're looking for, man. I don't know that I would necessarily hang on to this one much higher than probably about 1.63. I think was one of your target numbers, because you can see that there was support here, breakdown. It did go up over it and then ultimately broke down again. But you can see it was trying to hang on to some support here twice. If I zoom in just a little bit more, right here, breakdown. It actually was resistance, broke through, and then it tried to hold support, and then it broke down. So, yeah, I think that's probably a decent area to exit if it's just a scalp, quick play, high leverage kind of deal. Looking at it right now, you just type something here. It is a scalp, half out already, stop into entry. Cool. Sweet, man. Yeah, that's the right move. So I'm glad you said that, because that's probably what I would have done if it was a stop loss up to where your entry was. So good on you. But I would not, this is not one I would stay in until I see some kind of confirmation of, kind of flipping this trend a little bit. And I would like to see a retest of this support area before we would, say, hey, this is going to maybe have some potential for some upside movement. So,
yeah, he
cool,
said
man.
he took out. He said he took out half at 30%. So he's taken some profit off of it already. So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's done well. So
Yep.
that's fine. Like a really quick play. I'm on board with that, just based on this wick right here showing you that there is buying pressure. So I've done that quite a bit, and it's like an area of support. You identify it, and you're like, hey, we're going to get some price action off of this, but it may not say we're going to reverse the trend, but we could probably get some price action. Why not have a quick scalp or a quick play there? So it looks like that's
Awesome.
what you did. So good on you, man. Yeah. So it looks good for what you're doing. Overall, if we're looking at LDO though, not looking good. Just for the record, for anyone else that's looking at this right now, I would probably just kind of sit back for a second here, because it's trending down and right, and I don't think we're really going to find true support until about $1.42. That's probably a little bit more of an interesting area for me if you're trying to stack some bags on LDO.
Yeah, I don't invest in anything that the chart looks like the stage that I'm at in my life cycle. So, all right, let's jump over to my chart here real fast. Let's take a look at this. This was the chart that was on the thumbnail this morning that TradeFly was pointing at. It's the Soul Train. I'm gonna jump on this engineer position of this train for you real fast here. We did hit the golden pocket cleanly with the candle close on that on the 4 hour at 163.74, wicking up slightly above it, pulling back for a candle close there, guys. We do have the overbought blocks kicking up here, a lot of 5 of them. So that's over a day's worth of overbought. Mind you, we did pump all of that in through that, but now we are hitting key resistance here on the 618. We are starting to get some very small candles all the way up here on the Heikinashi in the 90% range of the RSI. What this is, takes the RSI ribbon, turns it into candlesticks, Heikinashi style, and you can see how well they play out. Start to get the small, it's a pump. Start to get the small, it's a dump. This is why I love this indicator, and it's absolutely free. So $3.99 is my favorite price. Looking at what's going on here, though, with where we are right now at this key level of resistance here on the golden pocket, I am expecting to see pullback to come on this for Solana. And this is actually happening with a lot of alts. They are sitting at these key levels of resistance right now, guys. So if Bitcoin does pull back, it is very likely that these are going to pull back with it, hence the thumbnail today. So, OC, let's kick it over to you and see what you got there in the chart, man.
Absolutely. I wanted to keep a track on what we were talking about yesterday, which was BNB, and you just touched on Solana. basically they both played out perfectly. So as you can see, it was bounced to the downside. I told you guys, well, we're gonna have a secondary week. We had it. Well, then be careful because we're gonna have a possible rejection here. Well, it happened a slightly bit downwards, but there we go, going downwards. And then the next area we're gonna be this high one. So the next one that I want to touch on very, very quick, it's Ondo, because Crypto Pollo was requesting it, and he was also very clear on his entry. He says that his entry, it is at 0.7507, and he have a taking profit at 0.85. So he already have taken that profit, and he has the next one at 93. 0.93. So I think that this one, it's a little bit too far away. This is not financial advice, but let me show you something here. We have the premium area right here, and also we have the resistance of this trend of the symmetrical triangle. I do believe that we're going to be breaking higher, but not that high. First thing I want to point out, it is the goose head in here playing out very nice. As you can see, we had the goose head, and as we build up on the goose head, we had a further movement to the upside. Here we got another goose head. As you can see, despite we moved down, we have that wick, which ended up being that further movement to the upside. Right now, we're having a much more defined, much more higher possible goose head. It's not quite there at goose head, but I believe that we could be wicking up to the premium area, not only because there is a premium there, but also because that is more or less the center of the high order block that we have previously hit. Maybe you're considering the top of it, which is fine. I think that is a good optimistic area, but me being the cautious trader that I try to be, I also see right there two resistances and a liquidity area right here from a liquidity zone. So basically, they are bunching up a couple of things right at this area here. So that's what I will kind of like maybe trying to do, lower down that taking profit, and then maybe as we retrace out of that area, if we confirm back movement to the upside, maybe enter somewhere midway this trade just to confirm that we have also a flip of the ribbon as confirmation, and then ride it all the way up here, because there is a real chance that we hit 103 area. So that's what I got on Ondo. Hopefully, Crypto Pollo, you're doing great. Remember, use a stop loss, trail your TP number 3, not financial advice, but there you go.
Awesome. Sweet. Let's jump over here. Let's talk about this news article really fast. And then we'll get into some more. I got ADA coming up for myself, TradeFly OC. Grab some altcoins. Guys, in the chat, drop some altcoins and let us know what you guys would like to see. Also, if you haven't done so yet, you guys need to click that button, that like, subscribe, notification bell. At least the like. I'm sure most of you are subscribed and have notification bells turned on, but hit the like. If I don't say it, it doesn't happen. So let's jump over into this article and take a look here. CME Group. You guys may have heard of them. They do the CME gap. You've heard that term. They also are the largest futures for trading for Bitcoin by liquidity. Looking at this. This is CME Group's planned a spot Bitcoin trading launch to meet the Wall Street demand. So this is some bullish news. This is good stuff. It's not all bearish today, guys. We'll put the data out regardless of what it is, and we're not trying to match a narrative, so we're not going to cherry pick data. Here we go. Bullish stuff here. Introduction of spot trading at CME aims to enhance investment opportunities through basis trades and crypto buys. So they are the world's largest futures exchange. They're introducing that Bitcoin trading as reported by the Financial Times on Thursday. That's today. CME Group plans that spot trading. Chicago-based exchange has been in discussion with traders seeking a regulated marketplace for Bitcoin transactions. While the plan isn't finalized, it marks a significant step in integrating traditional finance with digital assets. They're currently the leading Bitcoin futures exchange by open interest, while Binance dominates the spot market. Though still under consideration, a spot trading offering on CME would allow Wall Street to take a bigger punt on Bitcoin outside of ETFs. So while we're on the topic of ETFs here, guys, right here, Bitcoin ETFs saw $303 million in inflow yesterday after a slow few weeks. And you can see that nice little tick up there, getting that almost about 302.97, $303 million in inflows. So some bullish news there, but doesn't change what's going on right now with Bitcoin miners selling. If the Bitcoin miners sell, it's going to allow these big companies to buy Bitcoin for cheaper. So yes, just that's how they're going to look at it too. They want cheap Bitcoin just like we do. TradeFly, let's kick it over to you. See what you got there. Looks like we got IMX, Immutable X, and then SEI and Matic. So what do you got there? Looks like Captain Jack Matic is on the shoot. Let's go.
You know it. You know it. Go ahead and cue the chemtrails for me, baby. Send those things because I got it up right here. All right. Let's start on the daily. There was a rising wedge. That chart prime was oh so nice to print out for us. And look, smart target. It pulled out. And guess what? It hit it. So let's go ahead and get rid of that now. Let's see here. There we go. And this was actually what I was looking at personally. So you can see I had kind of, looks like a little megaphone going on there. So it was in that range. It was honoring that support and resistance area, and then ultimately broke out, fell down, lost the point of control, lost the value area low. Look, the value area low is actually providing a lot of resistance right now, as well as the golden pocket. Did get a wick up there. So it looks like we got a lot of resistance on the top side. Let me just cue the moving averages real quick. Yep, there you go. All the moving averages are on the top side as well. Not ideal, but what you are seeing is it's starting to form a range, and it's kind of consolidating here in this area right over top of the platinum pocket. So it looks like it wants to hold. Now, you come down to the prime oscillator, what are you starting to see? Well, ultimately, it is trending up and right. You got that green line showing you that indication as well. You're also getting that peak singer, and that is showing us that there could be a reversal here as well. So could be an opportunity. I mean, if I was just to say 67 cents on Matic, I'd say not so bad. Not too long ago, we were right up here at $1.30. So, that's a pretty steep fall. It's just you're really dealing with some resistance up here on the top side. So small play, you could probably play this range, honestly. So where we're finding support right here up to, I'd say the value area low at about 73 cents. Pretty quick play. Little scalp opportunity maybe. Let's go ahead and measure that out just to see if we're right here where we're at right now to the value area low. That's a 10% move, man. That's a pretty damn nice move, to be honest with you.
Not bad.
So that could be an opportunity there. Just looking at it right now. And then, if you're just adding to the bags, it's not complete doom and gloom yet, but if this breaks down, that's really not looking great for Matic. So it's tough with Matic right now, but yeah, short term, I think we could find a little opportunity in here. But we gotta break all this area right here where the resistance is, golden pocket, the moving averages. We got to get through all that value area low. Once we get on top of that, then I'd be a lot more bullish because that's showing us a potential reversal in trend. So we'll wait for that in terms of I'll say fattening the bags too much, or looking for a continuation up and right. But 67 cents is not bad, to be honest with you. So that's where we're at right now in terms of support. It's about 66 to 67 cents. If you break down your next area, you can see there's some support resistance here, and it kind of aligns at the bottom of the platinum pocket as well at about 58 cents. So you can look for that. But I think short term, we could probably, here's the issue. Bitcoin is at resistance. So that gives me like pause. If we see movement with Bitcoin and we think it's going to break through that resistance, then I think it's an easy move for Matic to come right up here. So Bitcoin, we call it the North Star now. Keep an eye on that. You do want to see that break or at least consolidate and stay in a range. You'll notice that sometimes too. If Bitcoin stays on a range for an extended amount of time, altcoins tend to catch up. All right. They're a little bit slow to the party a lot of times. So keep an eye on that. I think that's going to be an important part of the movement for Matic right now because it's not diverging. It's not doing its own thing. It's pretty stagnant, to be honest with you. So, yeah, that's about what I'm saying on Matic right now. Nothing too crazy. We got an area of support. It's trying.
All right. I'm going to jump over to Ada. If that's, are you done? You're good?
Yeah, man.
All right. Let's take a look at ADA
All
here.
right.
ADA's another one of these that is sitting at critical resistance, guys. Looking here where we got our rejection in, you guys can see we wicked up right here out of this golden pocket, the 618 at 46 cents. We actually wicked up to the top of the dynamic reactor. That's that ribbon running through right there. It's dark red, so it's a little hard to see. I need to change the color on that, but that is where we got rejection at. The top of the golden pocket, laid over the dynamic reactor on the 4-hour, giving us that rejection. If we take a look at what we have going on here, we also have on the Oscillator Pro, we do have a hidden bearish divergence that printed there, and it looks like we're starting to get that wick down, or that flip of the ribbon there, as OC says, and also we're getting our first red candle on the Heikinashi here after hitting as high as 80% there. Very likely going to see a pullback down on this. I did have a video, I did do a on the live stream not long ago where I talked about 25 cent possibly on 25 to 28 cent possibly, but I actually think that it's going to be more around 38 cents that we hit on here. If we take a look at where that level is at and why I'm saying that, it is our platinum pocket. Let me go to the daily here so I can get this onto the scene, and you will see where we are right now. There's not much here, guys. There's a couple of wicks here, but this is just pretty much just a straight line of pump through that we could easily fall back down through. We pumped up there. We can just as easily fall back down through that into the range of support here from this cluster, and that would be right here on the platinum pocket. So I'm watching for like 36 cents ADA to be in play based on the rejection of the golden pocket here. Cannot seem to get outside of it. Likely going to be heading back down there on ADA. So Mexican spaghetti cleanup on aisle 1, and we will kick it over to OC.
Absolutely. We have immutable X ready to go. So basically, we have a channeling here. It seems like we already have a breakout right there at the dynamic reactor. So that's looking good. We also have a strong signal here, and we're above the 0 line. We are 0 on a consolidation score, which means that we could be going higher. Just a little bit of a warning here. At least for now, we are on big resistance in here, and usually that leads to a retracement. Also, remember, it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest of the retracement. Also, it's expected, right? And then off we go. So not looking bad at all for immutable X, I mean, until we get to daily. Look at what's happening here on daily. We have a big pull. We have an up-ranging movement. We are in a big resistance. Let's see what happened before on the previous time.
And I think we might be back. We lost stream there for a full power flash here at my house. So I apologize about until they drop back in. The guy should be coming back in any second now. So TradeFly looks like he's back in. Let's go ahead and jump over to my chart, and I'll take a look at what I'm seeing here. Looking at a little update. Let me move some stuff here off the screen. Apologies again, guys. They're doing a lot of construction around my house right now, building houses, and they keep messing with my stuff. So TradeFly, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, man.
All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and jump over here into the chart until OC gets back in here. You got a chart up, OC? TradeFly?
I was still actually just shared my screen, so just pulled Matic up, but I did want to look at Caspa, so I can do that on the fly here. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Let you work your magic in the background.
Yep, get it going again.
Cool, man. So I got Caspa up. Let's look at it on the daily. You can see that it did come down to the platinum pocket here, and it did find support. So that's Piper's one of his favorite areas is down to the platinum pocket, but it did reject off of the golden pocket, and this is the second time we've seen a rejection off the golden pocket, and it's really in the vicinity of the dynamic reactor as well. Here's the difference, though. Look, it's come down to the platinum pocket again, but this time it's finding support on the top side. And you can see that the prime oscillator is starting to work its way up and right. So it's showing you that we're building some strength. We are getting a prophecy indicator of market pumps on the daily. So that's a strong indicator. And I think we're going to come out and we're going to retest this area, this golden pocket again. So third retest, we'll see. Sometimes it's like chopping a tree. and eventually that sucker will fall. But we'll have to wait and see. I could very much see it making a move up to the golden pocket, and you can see the dynamic reactor has flipped green as well on the daily. Yep, it's flipping green. So it's trying. It's definitely trying to make a move to the upside here. Let's go ahead and look at the 4 hour, see if we can get a little more zoomed in look here. So there we go. All right. So yeah, it's working. It's actually really fallen back into this range. So it looks like it found a little range here once it fell out, and then it worked itself back into this range. Let's do a fixed range volume profile as well. Let's take a look at that. Doing it all live.
You gotta love the
Let's
joys
see
of
some-
live, man. Gotta love it.
That is. It's running a little slow for me right now. Doesn't really want to do a fixed range volume profile. So yeah, it's in a range. You got to wait for it to break here. I mean, you can try to play this range between. I'm not going to guarantee you, but betting man value area low is probably going to be somewhere. I would say right in here would be my guess. Value area high is probably going to be somewhere around where the golden pocket is. Also would be my guess, and we're probably flirting with the point of control right now. So I'm making an assumption, but that's just the way I think it would play out if it did a print. So it depends on what you're trying to do. Scalping intraday, play the range, go for it. You got the top side, the bottom side here. You got support at, let me give you a number, at about 11 cents. You got resistance at about 12.6 cents. So that's kind of your range right now. Obviously, it gets on the top and the bottom side, but it kind of regresses to the mean. Now, if you're looking at potentially going long on CASPA, or adding to your bags, you want to see a true reversal in trend. I would like to see it break this area right here that it's struggling with, which is the golden pocket. Gets on top of the golden pocket. You'd want to look for some sort of retest. So gets outside of it, comes down, confirmation with that retest, and then you're looking for continuation up and right. And then you play it up to the 0.5, probably about 14 cents there. So that's what I'm looking at on CASPA. I will say that it hasn't been looking too bullish as of late, but if you zoom out, still a bullish trend. Look at it. All right. So we haven't set a true high, or say again.
Yeah, my key area to buy there is still going to be that massive trend line from the bottom. So yeah, it's more like this one here. This is still my major accumulation area.
I was trying to scroll.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is my key area right here that I'm looking to buy in, guys. It's absolutely it's this long trend line. It goes way back, all the way to October of last year, or June of last year, I should say. So this area on a retest between 9.6 cents and somewhere in the range of about 9 cents, 9 to 9.6. That would be my key buy-in area for CASPA also. So looks like we are just about out of time though. So
yeah, I was going to say, this might be the one time I might be a little more bullish than you. I don't know if we're going to make it down there unless we really get that pullback with
let me fix that for you then. There you go.
Yeah, there it is. There, yeah, bring it on over, man. That's you.
Now I'm the bear today. Today brought to you by the bear. So OC, sorry about you getting cut off there, man. We had a little collapse there of the system. A little power surge again. They've got to finish this construction out here in this neighborhood. It's been horrible for me. But guys, thanks for coming back and joining us here. TradeFly OC, you got anything for the gang on the way out? I think today is a big trade day, isn't it?
It is. That's right. Yeah. I got my 1v1 against Drew Wolfer, who is an absolute stud. He's been crushing it. I think in terms of portfolio, I think his is the highest. So I got my work cut out for me today, but it is a fair game. It's all based on P&L today. So if I continue the trend, I think the last 3 episodes, I've been, I think, up 30%, 20%, and like 17% or something like that. So, just gotta keep it going. So
you don't have to trade. You don't have to trade harder. You don't have to trade harder. You just got to trade smarter. That's right.
Yeah.
OC, tell these people what they win if they hit the like button.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Absolutely, guys. We can see bad internet is taking over. We talked about this virus is spreading, Mexican internet spreading over. Now it's electricity power outage spreading out. So block that trend, hit that like button, because that is a shield that you need for your power not to go out. I mean, we need to save Army Piper from that. Please click that like button and see it happen.
Awesome. Guys, thanks for joining us today. We're about to end the show, and we're going to go over and we're going to rate Randy Hipper's show. So stick around and drop those graduation caps in there. Let them know the alumni's in the house. We will catch you guys back here tomorrow for Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit, guys. Till then, trade safe, stay primed. And as always, use the stop loss.
Don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have, step fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. Sound off to get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!